here's the study guide. I'm going over basically the whole thing. That way you have time to study it over the weekend. So let's get started. First things first, we basically need to find the number of this. So for example, this is earn $45 because earn is a positive number. I know it's a positive 45. Jupiter is 145 degrees below 0. So it's 145 degrees below 0. Gains means it's a positive. Boils is kind of tricky, but think about how it has to be above freezing temperature, which is, 32 degrees. So we know that it's 121 degrees positive. Scuba diver is 40 feet below sea level. Sister owes me $15. This one's kind of tricky as well, but you have to think, you don't have the money. She owes you the money. And that's why it's owes $15, negative 15. Opposite of 7, negative 7. Opposite of 0, 0. Opposite of negative 3, 3. Opposite of negative 1, 1. These are such easy questions. You really shouldn't take more than a couple seconds on it because it should just be bam, bam, like second nature. You should be able to quickly identify the opposites of values. So basically, Mark and Annabelle had some money in their account. They made a deposit of $35. So now they have whatever they originally had and then some, $35 to be exact. But then they spent $35. So in this case, 0 represents the original amount of money that they had. So now we need to place the following numbers on the number line below. The opposite of negative 11 is 11, but the opposite of 11 is negative 11. Opposite of 0 is 0, but the opposite of 0 is 0. Opposite of 5 is negative 5, and the opposite of negative 6 is 6. I have 0 here, which is C. I'm going to count to 6, which is D. Then I need to go backwards to 5, or negative 5, I should say, sorry, which is B. I'm going to try to squeeze all this in. I don't know if it'll work. Oh, it won't. Well, basically, negative 11 should be all the way over there, like here. So when you do this, hopefully you kind of save more space for yourself. But I should have basically had, here, I'll add more room over here. I have negative 9, negative 10, negative 11. A should be right here at negative 11. It's just super far away. So you should have A, negative 11, B, negative 5, C, 0, and then D, 6. Now we have the back. We basically need to match them and then find the solution. This is 4 divided by 5, which is 4 divided by 5, A. This is going to be 8 divided by 20. 8 divided by 20 is C. We have 5 divided by 4, which is 5 divided by 4, B. And then we have 20 divided by 8, which is D. I'm sure you can do the answers to figure these out, but we should have gotten 8/10 because you divide the numerator by the denominator. This one should have been 4/10. Again, dividing the numerator by the denominator. This one should have taken more room, but you should have gotten 1 and 25/100. And this one should have been pretty straightforward. You should have gotten 2 and 5/10. Now we need to order these numbers on the number line. I would make them all decimals if I were you. So negative 8 1/2 is just negative 8.5, because I know that half is just 5/10. This one is kind of trickier. You should have divided 47 and 9, and you would have gotten 5 and 2 repeating. 1/4 is 25/100, so I know that this is 5 and 25/100. Cool. I'm at 0. So I'm going to go all the way to 7 here and all the way to -9 over here. Okay, I can kind of fit it in over here. So let's look at A. A is -8 and 5/10, right here, between -8 and -9. B is 6 and 75/100, which is probably closer to 7, right over here. C is 5 and 2 repeating, but this is 5 and 25/100. So I need to kind of figure out which one would be closer to 5, because which one's like the bigger number, you know? Well, I know that 2 keeps repeating to be more 2's, so if this is 5 and 22/100, then I know that this must be smaller than 5 and 25/100. So this is probably going to be C, while this over here is D. Last but not least, we have E, which is -7 and 2/10, which should be pretty close to -7 because it's only 2/10 away. All right, a doctor keeps his contact lenses in order from least to greatest. Bam. First thing I do, least to greatest. And that way I can identify what I'm looking for. And now I'm basically needing to put these in order. I'm going to focus on my negative numbers first and go from there. So I have 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, and -3. I'm trying to fit it all on one screen, you know. So -2/5 is smack dab between -2 and -3. -1 and 25/100 should be pretty close to -1. -1 and 5/10 should be halfway. And -2 and 25/100 should be pretty close to -2. Now I need to put this in order. So I'm going to do -2 and 5/10. -2 and 25/100, -1 and 5/10, and -1 and 25/100. I just got my negative numbers done. Now I'm going to move to my positive numbers. So I have 25/100. I have 5/10, which should be like halfway, like right halfway between. And then I should have 1 and 25/100, which should be right here. Now I just write them down. 25/100, 5/10, 1 and 25/100. You won't get 7 numbers on the STAR test. You'll probably get about 5, like at most. But it's still nice to have them just so you have the practice of, oh, well, you do this first, then this, and then this. So that's part 1. I'll kind of cut this and upload it, and then we'll do the second half in the next video.